income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
For over 2 weeks, that audio right there was the last anyone had publicly heard from Haley Welch, aka Tuah Girl. The now viral moment happened after she was accused of pushing a crypto pump and dump scheme for her meme coin $Hawk, a scheme that led many investors to lose lots of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of money. Side note, imagine saying those last few sentences to some dude from the 19th century or a little Victorian child. Honestly, even your just non-chronically online friend, like their minds would be blown. If you happen to be that non-chronically online friend who has no clue what I'm talking about, first off, good for you. Very healthy, honestly. And second, let me get you up to speed real quick because this story is crazy. And as we'll talk about shortly, it's not the only one of its kind. So Tuah Girl is one of our culture's newest viral meme influencers. She rose to fame after this famous street interview.
You gotta give him that hawk and spit on that thing.
And incredibly, she's managed to latch onto that virality and turn it into a career. Tuah Girl, or Haley, now has a huge podcast called Talk Tuah, merch, and millions of followers on social media. Girl is making bank off her 15 seconds of fame, but her most recent endeavor to make some moolah has put her in some real hot water. When she was finally confronted in a live stream about this crypto scheme, the world received an audio that sounds straight out of an animated kid's movie.
Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See, like mentioned before, Tuah Girl put out a meme coin under the name $Hawk. Basically, this is a crypto coin that you can buy and sell, but it's called a meme coin because its popularity has nothing to do with how useful it can be. No, because why would you want to put money into something that's potentially has a practical rationale? That's ridiculous. Instead, the hype and money going into a meme coin like $Hawk has literally all to do with the fact that it's based on a viral internet moment or meme.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
And pour money into it is exactly what happened. Tuah Girl promoted this meme coin on her platforms as something worth investing in. And crazily enough, some people did. As in, they put their hard-earned money into a random crypto coin named after this moment.
And that hawk.
Within hours, the coin crashed and many investors lost most of their money. Immediately, Tuah Girl and the team behind the Hawk coin were accused of pushing what's known as a pump and dump scam, a phrase for when you hype up an investment so that lots of people buy in, which in turn raises the value of the investment, but you only do that so that you and other insiders can sell off the investment at a huge profit while simultaneously making the asset crash for all those suckers that you lured in. More recently, Tuah Girl finally broke her silence with a serious post about the potential pump and dump scheme, linking people to a law firm if they lost money in the crash. And it makes sense that she's taking this more seriously now, because there's already a class action lawsuit taking place. As Rolling Stone reports, quote, the suit includes a dozen plaintiffs who claim to have collectively lost more than $150,000. So obviously a wild story, but I think it's even more fascinating because this is not the first time something like this has happened. You know, the whole influencer hyping up a crypto scheme to their audiences, only for their audiences to pay the price and the influencer to walk away richer. Nearly the same crypto pump and dump scheme happened with the ever infamous Logan Paul. You know, it's always the ones that you suspect. In 2021, a scheme called CryptoZoo launched and was promoted by Logan Paul. It sold millions of dollars worth of NFTs and crypto under the label $Zoo, and, surprise, surprise, Logan seemed to abandon the project, leaving many investors losing their money. If you want to look into all the nitty-gritty details of these kinds of scams, the YouTube channel CoffeeZilla does phenomenal deep dives on internet scams just like these. I'll link the relevant videos of his in my description below under the resource section in case you want to learn more. But this video is less about the intricate details of these scams and more about why we keep falling for them and whether this is a sign that we are entering into a new era of influencer scams. If you're new here, I'm Cara and I make video essays on the intersection of money, media, and intentional living. If you like this video after watching, go check out my video on the predatory world of payday loans or my video exploring pig butchering scams. And don't forget to subscribe to keep up with new videos. And before we dive into the psychology of why people fall for such scams, it's worth thinking about how the root of so many of these issues is online trust. The trust we have in larger-than-life personalities, viral meme moments, and platforms that promise you huge instant riches. Unfortunately, so much of that trust ends up being exploited for others' gains. Another example is how so many websites and companies that you give your personal data to end up selling your information to data brokers all over the web. These brokers collect and sell your data, making you vulnerable to identity theft, spam, and phishing attacks. Like, Google yourself right now and look at all of the creepy details you can find. Seriously, look, you can find addresses, you can find phone numbers, past and present email addresses, relatives' names. All this personal information is just out there for strangers to creep on, companies to abuse, and scammers to exploit. If you are not a fan of being exposed like that, today's sponsor, Delete Me, can help you take control of your online presence by removing your personal information from data broker websites. I am a huge fan of Delete Me, and I've been using their service for over a year and a half now. And beyond just wanting to avoid scams, I'm especially careful about my private information being out there as a woman who has an internet public presence. Like, I really don't need people knowing my phone number or my address, you know? And whether you are a public figure or not, the risk of not protecting your private data can be huge. If you go to Delete Me's free scan option, you can even see which data brokers have your information right now. Fortunately, Delete Me's service searches and removes your personal data off the public internet, providing you quarterly privacy reports that break down what exact information was found and removed on your behalf. And Delete Me doesn't just have to be something for you. If you're concerned about data privacy for your parents or your kids or your friends, you can also gift Delete Me to someone to help them protect their personal information. If you're interested in getting your own detailed report and having your personal information stay private, you can use my discount code Cara for 20% off. That's code Cara, C-A-R-A, at joindeleteme.com/Cara, which I'll also link down below. Go check out Delete Me today and protect your data, and thank you so much to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. So first off, why do people keep falling for these scams? I mean, you'd think that if a crypto coin popped up yesterday with the name Hawk, doesn't seem like it's the most, shall I say, secure investment. And yes, I think that there's an argument to be made that some people just don't have great common sense. They probably are the same type of people who didn't even realize that this whole video, I've had a sticker in the corner of my wall here that says gullible. Did you really look right now? Did you seriously look? Come on. Come on. But yes, common sense and gullibility are huge components to the question of why people fall for pump and dump scams, but it's not the whole story. And I think we actually open ourselves up to being victims of scams when we brush them off too much as things that only dumb, gullible people fall for. To quote Albert Einstein, tongue model extraordinaire, quote, "The only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance." So then what else is at play here? I would argue it's a mix of lack of knowledge, our psychological vulnerabilities, and just straight up manipulation tactics from these influencers and schemers. Now, lack of knowledge is the most straightforward one here, and honestly, quite understandable. We don't do a great job of teaching personal finance in schools or at home, so most adults are walking around having little clue what makes a good investment or how to budget properly, let alone how to identify speculative assets and unregulated markets. It's made even more confusing with the rise of crypto, a brand new world riddled with contradicting headlines that I feel like even the most enthusiastic crypto folks can explain with only partial coherence. That lack of knowledge then directly feeds into our psychological vulnerabilities like FOMO, or the fear of missing out, and parasocial relationships. With FOMO, we see the rare story of a crypto millionaire and think to ourselves, man, if I had invested like them, I'd be rich too. I'm really missing out. Crypto websites love to fuel this FOMO too. Just look at a couple of these headlines and how blatantly they want people to worry if they're gonna miss out on future crypto riches. And then we see influencers we enjoy and thus likely have a level of parasocial relationship with, and we put misplaced trust in them.
Tens of millions of dollars in the tokens itself, the zoo tokens. People are so excited about it because it's Logan Paul.
We see them pushing a crypto scheme with claims of how it'll go to the moon and make you tons of money, and then we think, this could be my moment to finally not miss out, to finally make a fortune like others have. It feels like this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But if you watched my videos before, you know what a trap the fear of missing out can be. It can cloud your decision-making and lead to so many poor money decisions. From overspending to ignoring personal priorities to making risky investment bets that can turn out to be huge scams. There's also this concept called availability heuristic, which is a mental shortcut we fall into where the examples that we think of when making a decision are the ones that come to mind most easily. So if you're deciding whether or not to invest in $HawK, the meme coin, the first examples coming to mind might be a headline you saw about two guys who became millionaires from the Shiba Inu meme coin, or that time when Elon Musk tweeted about Dogecoin and it shot up 20%. What you don't think about are all the smaller but far more abundant stories of people losing their money in these meme coin trends. Since it doesn't come to mind first, the availability heuristic concept makes it less likely to be part of your decision-making process. I think this availability heuristic piece is made even worse when you add in the parasocial relationship element that I mentioned earlier. Because now the examples that come to mind easily aren't just headlines about people making a fortune on meme coins, but you also immediately think of the feelings you have toward the influencer pushing the scheme. Maybe you like someone like Tuah Girl or Logan Paul. They feel like someone you could have a drink with, crack jokes with, and would be a good friend. With enough exposure to their content, you might even feel like they are a friend. That's the weird thing about parasocial relationships. It's something I talk more about in my video on how stan culture keeps you poor, and honestly, I'm not sure there's a way to avoid forming parasocial relationships with people whose content you consume. I think there's a natural part of the human brain that is going to inevitably form a connection to any human who your brain spends enough time with, even if that time is one-sided. That being said, we have to be aware when we're experiencing it. Because if we aren't aware, that's when the parasocial relationship can be used as a manipulation tactic. Which leads us to the final factor that gets people to fall for these crypto pump and dump schemes: outright manipulation. The credibility and trust that an influencer or celebrity has with their audience can be weaponized in situations like this, making a scheme seem even more legitimate and trustworthy than it really is.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project that I believe is going to change the game.
For example, remember all those FTX commercials with celebrities like Tom Brady, Larry David, and Steph Curry? Those guys have such popular public personas that are associated with being chill, being grounded, being real, and incredibly talented. As a media consumer, it's easy to then associate the traits we have with those guys as applying to whatever they're promoting, which in the case of FTX ended up being a spectacular failure since the crypto company collapsed in 2022 after massive fraud. If you want to hear more about that situation, by the way, check out my past video, Influencers Don't Care If You Go Broke. That same year, Kim Kardashian was wrapped up in a crypto pump and dump scheme after promoting Ethereum Max on her social media. She ended up having to pay a $1.26 million fine due to her involvement, but that type of retribution doesn't always happen, unfortunately. If you want to set up a pump and dump scheme, manipulating and exploiting people's psychological vulnerabilities, it's absolutely the place to start. Make them feel like if they don't jump on this opportunity, they're gonna miss out on getting rich, that they'll feel so ridiculous when all their friends do it and they don't, and convince them that the people they admire in media are genuinely wanting you to invest in it. Don't let them think about the likely losses or how the influencers and celebrities are probably having major conflicts of interest that will make them richer the more you lose money. Don't let them think about that. So where does that leave us? Like I said before, and like you've seen throughout this video, Tuah Girl's recent crypto pump and dump scheme isn't an isolated event. These types of schemes seem to be happening more and more over the past few years, and each time more people lose their savings. So are we entering a new era of influencer scams? Transparently, I think we're already there, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. We have a world where parasocial relationships are increasing by the day, simply because we have more people in the limelight and media than ever before, and more ways to access other people. And we have technology like meme coins that make running a scam all the easier. And sadly, there isn't a silver bullet solution to this problem. It's a mix of us needing better consumer protection laws out there, as well as better knowledge, something you're doing right now by watching this video, so good job, you're ahead of the curve. But also, it's about becoming more mindful about what is actively influencing our money decisions. When we feel that urge to suddenly dump thousands of dollars into a new investment we just heard of online, or we want to spend our next paycheck on the coolest clothes or trinkets, it's worth us taking a step back to ask ourselves why. What's the deeper reason we want to do this? Is it because we're blindsided by the idea of instant wealth, or tempted by the idea of keeping up with the material wealth of those around us? It's hard, but I think that we have to get in the practice of asking ourselves these questions regularly and learning how to research things on our own. That is how we successfully survive a world of growing influencer scams. But what do you think? What are some other ways that you found are good for avoiding these types of crypto pump and dump schemes, or really any other scams out there that are pushed by influencers and celebrities, or just the straight up internet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and what topics you want to see me cover next. A huge thank you to the patrons on Patreon and those on Buy Me a Coffee for supporting this channel. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.